All right. Welcome to the MetaMentors Crypto Recap. It is the second week of April, first week of the Easter holiday. And speaking of Easter, we've got a nice little Easter egg about Mac putting the Bitcoin white paper into all their operating systems, just discovered again, actually, not the first time. We've got the Shanghai Upgrade for Ethereum happening as we speak, not live yet, but it's happening. We got Tencent, one of the world's absolute largest tech and cloud-based companies. They're coming full steam into Web3 and bringing a lot of power and money. And then last but not least, we've got Cheesy Papa John's coming onto the market with some NFTs. So this is the second week of April. MetaMentors, subscribe, like, comment, let us know what you think, and let's get some. What you got, Ben?
That's what I'm looking for, right?
It's been hot. Yeah, it's been popping lately.
It's just dropped below 30,000, but Bitcoin actually got back up over 30,000 for the first time in 10 months this week, which is obviously big news. That's great news for everything. Ethereum is up. They've got the Shanghai upgrade going on today. We'll be talking about that here in a little bit, but it's always good to come in and see, especially the big boys, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana is up by 15%. Always good to see Bitcoin on its way up. I mean, that means it's up 100% since its low point, which was around 15,000. So,
yeah. I'd like to toot my own horn. I got in right around that low point, not enough, but did get some, filled my bags a little bit. But yeah, it's trying to break that 30 and stay above it with all the stuff that's going on. It's a matter of time before it does, but I'm still holding out a little bit. I think it might come back down. I may live to regret those, but that's how it goes. But yeah, it's up and it's looking strong. Companies like Tencent coming on board. Man, we're headed for the future. Full steam ahead. Crypto.
Yep, and we're just going to start. The first thing we're going to talk about is, since Bitcoin, obviously, the big dog, it's bouncing around 30,000. So we found an interesting article this week about Bitcoin, the white paper being hidden in the Mac operating system in every computer since about 2017.
Yeah, when I was reading up on that, it was like you said, it's been there for quite a while, but and it was pointed out by a couple people on like Twitter or whatever, and nobody cared. Nobody cared at all. But now it's like, now Bitcoin's a little bit more of a household name. So it's like, oh, Apple and Bitcoin are doing what's up.
Well, and I think that's the case. It is, with a lot of this stuff, it's like, yeah, because somebody had found it back in 2021. It wasn't a big deal. And then the price of Bitcoin trickled down. But now that the price is trickling back up, it's like, hey, did you know that the white paper is in every Mac product? And so I've got a quick video for us here. It's 1 minute long, and then we'll talk some more about it afterwards. But I thought this was a pretty good little point of view.
Someone popped this up yesterday on the timeline, and it's definitely dominating Bitcoin Twitter right now. And that is the fact that inside every Mac OS computer since 2017 has been hidden a little paper called the Bitcoin white paper. This was first surfaced a while ago on a blog post, but didn't really get a lot of attention. And then it was surfaced again on another blog post, and it has been circulating quite a bit. It's deep within some files, so it'd be pretty hard to find it, but it does come standard on most Mac computers since 2017. Anything earlier from that does not seem to have it. Now the speculation is starting, right? Why is somebody putting the Bitcoin white paper into all these computers? There's some comments thinking about the fact that maybe we just want this white paper to be everywhere. Other people thinking like, it's a pretty light paper. Maybe they just like needed it to test the software, have it in there, just add it in there for kicks and giggles. We don't really know. Maybe there's a Bitcoin maximalist working deep inside Apple trying to orange pill as many people as possible. So we thought he'd do this.
So there you go.
The lore of crypto. Let's get this hype train going.
I'm telling you, that's one of my favorite things. And I think this girl goes on to talk about it in the video. She talks about the fun little things about crypto that you really don't get in any industry. The kind of the hints, the foreshadowing, the lore of Bitcoin. And so they go on to talk about a couple of different things. Mainly, is Tim Cook Satoshi Nakamoto,
Okay.
or was it Steve Jobs? Is there something hinting towards it, or is it just is there does Satoshi Nakamoto still currently work at Apple and he's just doing his job to spread it? So very interesting stuff. Obviously, a lot of those are far-fetched ideas, but when you don't know, who Satoshi Nakamoto is, you don't know. It could be anything. It could be anything.
What's your gut instinct? Do you think there's something to this, or do you think it just is there? Like somebody like a Bitcoin maximus that worked at Apple,
that's
put it in there.
Like a Michael Saylor fan that's just kind of prepping his exit from Apple. And then that way, when he goes into interview for MicroStrategies, he can say, "Hey, that was me. I put that in there."
Yeah, it's not like there was, they had like a wallet programmed in there or something that could, you could just automatically receive Bitcoin or something like that. More that would streamline the transfer of it, or something would make more sense. Whitepaper, it's a PDF. It's an important PDF, but it's just a PDF, right?
Again, I feel like a couple times I get caught in this position, and I hate to do it on Easter weekend. I hate to, parallel anything with the Bible and the Bitcoin white paper, but in the sense of spreading the good word and just getting, that's the reason, the Gideons leave Bibles in all the hotel rooms, is because, you never know who's going to come across it, who's going to see it and go, actually, this makes a lot of sense. And there's something to that. The Bitcoin white paper is just a simple, easy to read paper, but it kind of explains a lot of stuff. And if you're looking around at the financial world around us and you read the Bitcoin white paper and you go, actually, that makes a lot of sense. You never know who's going to see it. And I also think, again, it's just like doing the little weird symbols in pictures,
Right.
It's always just kind of like, I did that. I put that in there, it's on every Macintosh computer. So I think there's some of that also, but you just never know. I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, regardless whether it really is something or not, is very, very cool. Goonie-ish.
Yes. So I thought that was cool, and since that was the top crypto, I figured that's what we'd start with. So you just work your way down the list. Number 2, Ethereum. Well, the big news in Ethereum this week is the Shanghai Upgrade, which this will get aired on Friday, but we're recording it on Wednesday, April 12th. And today, at some point, they're going to pull the trigger and launch the Shanghai Upgrade, which is the final step in Ethereum's proof of work to proof of stake consensus mechanism. They've got a whole bunch of plans to improve Ethereum. The first part was changing from proof of work to proof of stake to use less energy and make it a lot more scalable. The Shanghai update is the final step in that step.
A few different things going on with the Shanghai update, but the big thing is you can withdraw your actual ETH if you want to, which some probably will to cash out, but a lot, I would imagine, will leave it. But that's the big thing, right? You can get your staking back with
the people who are holding the crypto, not anything behind the scenes. The biggest part of this is, yes, if you staked your Ethereum 2.0 2 years ago, today or tomorrow, hopefully in the next week, will be the first time that you're able to actually withdraw that. Now, that's good news because that means we've taken another step forward in creating a better, more solid Ethereum network. But it could lead to some potential short-term price volatility, because if somebody locked up $10 million, hypothetically, 2 years ago and hasn't had the ability to touch it, move it, or transfer it into something else, today's the day, maybe tomorrow. Again, they said late today, so who knows when it'll happen. But in the short term, there could be a lot of people pulling out of Ethereum to either just get some liquid cash, change it into fiat, turn it into something else. On the other hand, if it goes smoothly and people see that it went smoothly, and depending on how volatile the price is, you might get a lot of money coming back into it, because short term, it's probably going to make the price go like this, but long term, it's one more step that they've done. And if they do it successfully, which they've done the parts up to this, besides a couple of delays, everything that's actually gotten done, they've done it right and it's came out right. So that will lead to a long-term, much greater price increase.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, it continues to strengthen the Ethereum blockchain, which of course is the largest smart contract operating blockchain with the most dApps and stuff on it. So as it continues to get stronger, I mean, sky's the limit because you have so much operating on it. You know, it's a very good predictor of what we're going to continue to see in the future. Just its strength as far as operating smart contracts and dApps and just the cool stuff that's going on with Web3.
Yep, and that's the stuff that third party as well as just individual people are allowed to do. Plus, like you said, like NFTs, there's a ton of NFT activity on this network. But as far as Ethereum, the network goes, it's got a lot to look forward to. The Shanghai Upgrade completes the final part of the merge. If you remember when we were talking about all of these, the merge was changing from proof of work to proof of stake. Yeah. The Shanghai Upgrade will be the final piece of the first step. And then there's 5 more steps: the surge, the scourge, the verge, the purge, and then the splurge. So Ethereum is just an infant right now. And it's weird because it's basically number 2. There was some between Bitcoin and Ethereum back in the day, but Ethereum's the second biggest. So it's weird to think that it's really just growing. And that is one thing that makes it fundamentally different than Bitcoin, because the idea of Bitcoin is that it stays the same and that it doesn't change.
Right.
Ethereum, however, is like the fuel for the rest of the networks. And the more it changes, the better it gets. You know, the upgrades that it does, it'll just keep getting better, more usable, and cheaper to use. So
anything that goes positively as far as upgrades and improvements within Web3 is awesome. Let alone the largest blockchain as far as transactions right now.
Right,
huge
user activity
for Web3. Yes, but and again, like we've said, all in a bear market. This is all happening in a very steep or declining bear market.
Because there are the haters, there are the traditional finance, there are the the people on the other side that are praying that this doesn't work, and they go, "Oh, I told you so. That's terrible. That's why you shouldn't put your money in here." If there's any delays or anything like that, they jump on it every time. So it's so important for Web3 as a whole for these major projects to go smoothly. And we haven't heard otherwise, but by next week we'll have the update from the Shanghai update, see what happens, and that's what
Awesome. Look forward to it.
Also, I know we say this all the time, but it's getting to be one of those things where it's like every week we're talking about new people coming into the market, coming into Web3, trying out new stuff, either getting NFTs or getting in with the Web3 gaming. Now, Tencent, everybody knows them. Huge mobile online gaming. They do League of Legends, Call of Duty Mobile, and my favorite, which is PUBG. They've dabbled in NFTs and they're doing a little bit of Web3 stuff, but they've recently just filed some new trademark applications in the US for some NFT and Web3 based stuff. They just got it tweeted out here. It's a lot to read. It's all legalese and it's very confusing, but basically they've got some VR, AR capabilities and some NFTs. They've got some slogans and some logos that they're doing for their game, Honor of Kings, which I feel bad. I don't know what it was, but Ryan didn't know what it was either. So Honor
Well,
of
they
Kings.
Got 100 million daily players. Did you know that, Ben?
I did. That's their first thing on their Twitter page, is that Honor of Kings is the world's most played multiplayer online battle arena game with 100 million daily players, which they must not have Twitter because there's only 12,000 followers. They must all be busy playing the game, but they filed a whole bunch of patents and trademarks for this. Obviously, we don't need to go over how important it is if you've got an audience of 100 million people and you're getting into the Web3. If you just think about, well, each one of those 100 million people decided to buy some Bitcoin, they could, if they were all going to buy it, yeah, they could only spare a fifth of a coin each if they all got the same amount. So that's a huge number. And actually, I was looking at some of the graphics. We haven't gone over any projects lately, like the deep dives like we did the first year. But when this one gets fully onto the blockchain, maybe it's something we look at because
it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, the graphics are great. I can see why it's got 100 million users. A lot of the videos, the movies and stuff in theaters right now, I think like Dungeons and Dragons in the theaters. We've always got superhero movies. I mean, that stuff's just popular right now. So
Yeah.
the audience and you're getting into Web3, now's the time to do it. And
this one kind of looked, well, I should say it the other way around. Big Time, that game we covered in one of our episodes, kind of reminds me of this a little bit, like oversized weapons, armor, like different talents, kind of along those lines. Probably a bunch like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only other thing I had to talk about today was in the same vein, Papa John's also getting into Web3.
Very much like Honor of the Kings. I think of those two together.
It's the exact same thing when you think it's a large multinational gajillion-dollar company that's dipping into Web3. I think Papa John's, in fact, no, Domino's has the most branches of any restaurant in the world. And then
Does it really?
Yeah. And then
more than McDonald's.
More than McDonald's and more than Subway. That. Yeah. Because there's like a lot of little pocket Domino's in a lot of foreign countries, like right on the corner. So, but Papa John's is up there. Papa John's is a huge pizza place. Everybody knows about Papa John's. They're venturing into the world of NFTs. So they've got NFTs, their first ever pizza NFTs. They're just doing some of their top pizzas. They're just collectibles. I don't believe they have any utility right now, but they are also doing an immersive virtual experience. So they've set up a virtual experience center in OneRare's food metaverse that takes you on a pizza journey that kind of explains to you, that shows you how they make the pizzas and kind of how the company got started. And so OneRare's got a whole bunch of different stuff, and the Papa John's is just one thing deep inside of there. So one virtual experience. They've got games and NFTs and all of that. So I thought that was pretty neat. And I always like to see when a Papa John's does something like this, if it gets any traction, then expect Pizza Hut and Domino's to be right in there also. Not just with collectibles, but with the utility of the NFTs. There's so many possibilities with NFTs when you're thinking about all the stuff you're able to do. Like think about when we were doing Sandbox and Decentraland, to be able to walk into a Papa John's in the virtual world. And if you've got the NFT, it's like, okay, they have all your information because of what you have in your wallet. They know which customer you are. You can buy some, for some sand tokens, you can buy a pizza and have it delivered to you in real life, all while protecting your identity from, several different third parties. But it can be, instant transaction, which the possibilities of stuff like this is the only reason why I can imagine companies aren't getting into this stuff yet, is it's like redesigning everything. Like everybody's kind of in a down market right now, not just crypto. Everybody's cutting employees, cutting costs, doing what they can to save money. And it's like,
marketing goes the first thing that goes.
Yeah. To really wrap your head around what this kind of stuff is capable of, you're going to need a whole team working full time. So very cool, but unfortunately, we just have to go at the pace of the market. So it's nice when you see stuff like Papa John's jumping in and big game companies that have a huge following already, like Tencent jumping in. Now we just got to wait it out. And the better Bitcoin does, the better Ethereum does, the better all that stuff does, the more attention you'll see companies put into this.
It's nuts, dude. Like I can visualize us coming out of this bear market, whatever it looks like, this down market, and it's just a complete explosion of Web3 and crypto. I'm like, there's so many companies coming on board, and unless you're into this stuff, you probably aren't even paying attention. You might catch a little bit and then passing headlines and scrolling through your phone. You might see, oh, Papa John's is getting into NFTs. Well, that's okay, whatever. But it's because so many people are so distracted with so many other things. But all these companies are getting on board because this technology just makes so much more sense. And we're going to come out this other side. And like, some people are going to wake up one day and they're going to go, what in the hell is
Right.
I'm paying with crypto now? And there's these
Right.
NFTs, and like, there's no longer a gift card, or like, it's just going to be a revolution. It's just moving so fast. And unless you're watching, you just don't even hardly know it's happening.
Yep. Christmas of 2024, all of the deals, all of the coupons, all of the stuff like that. Somebody's going to go shopping, and that's going to be the first time when they go, sorry, you got to have, you got your crypto wallet, you got a MetaMask or a Coinbase. Like, what are you using? And they're not going to have any idea what's going on. And it's going to snap for them. And they're going to look around and realize, oh, shoot, everything from the food court to, I think one of the articles that I was reading this week was, Polo, Ralph Lauren down in Miami just started accepting crypto also. And right now it's like a novelty. Like, okay, if you want to spend some crypto, you can come, we can accept it here. But very quickly when they go, wait a minute, there's a 0.001%, or 1% of a penny, a very small transaction fee over here if we get paid in Polygon. And it's 30 cents immediately, and then 3% of the total transaction if we pay with Visa. Why would, as a retailer, we not accept crypto? And it's instant and verifiable, and people can't come on there later and say, no, I didn't want that, and get their refund, or I never bought that, I wasn't there. Like, it's so much safer with a crypto, with a, Web3 blockchain-based currency that is working correctly. There are ones that, there are crappy ones, and there are times where they get hacked. There is stuff that goes wrong. But if we can get one like a Solana that works great, or a Polygon or a Matic, to where it's just very easy to just go up, swipe your phone, pay for your hot dog at the food court, walk down the street, get some shoes with Foot Locker, just keeps track of all the stuff that you're buying, gets sent to your house. All your information's already in there. The person behind the counter doesn't have to know where you live or what your name is. They don't have to touch any of your credit cards or see any of your financial information. They can just go bap, and it's either delivered to your house or you could take it right there.
6 months ago, people were still saying, yeah, I see the thing with this crypto deal, but I can't buy my groceries with it. I can't pay for my dinner with it. Like, there's no real use for it. Well, you and I and many other people knew that was short-lived, and we could already see some of the underlying. Well, you start getting Papa John's and some, like, all of a sudden it's legit. Like, you can use it in everyday transactions.
Yep. And like we always talk about, you can get the NFTs and you can get in on some of these big projects, or you can find the network or the blockchain that they're going with. I couldn't find it on Papa John's, but I saw Algorand had a lot of projects going. Matic is always up in the forefront. It seems like a lot of the Fortune 500, Starbucks, Disney, a lot of those people are using the Polygon network. It's a layer 2 for Ethereum. So the better Ethereum does, the better Polygon does. And the bigger those companies get, that's, you can just go right now onto Coinbase and buy a Matic token for $1.10, which means you can get a piece of the action for $1.10. And then it's exponential from there. You can put as much or as little into it as you want.
Yeah. It's here, man. It's growing. All right. Well, that is this week's crypto rewind, crypto retro. I forget what I called it at the beginning of the show. Don't say anything. I'm trying to wrap this up. That's not the news for you this week.
I was going to say, if you've made it to 29 minutes or however long this is into the video, then we can share with you that we've learned that people don't like watching the news. So this will never again be called the crypto news. If you've got a good idea for what we should call it, the Crypto Rewind this week in, I guess we already tried this week in Web3. People didn't really care for that either.
Yeah.
We're open to suggestions.
Comment down below.
All
Thanks
right.
for watching. We'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week.
I'll see you before then.